Welcome to Tek Talk in KROOM. My name is Patrick Ding, and I'm your host for tonight's session. I would like to also welcome our moderator, Mr. VJ, who is joining us live virtually
Hello.
somewhere in Kuala Lumpur. Also joining us live from Florida, USA, Dr. Ahmad Moradi. Welcome both of you to this session of Tek Talk in KROOM. And our topic tonight is on does privacy matters to you? So before I pass it over to our moderator, I want to say that I personally feel that privacy matters for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons that privacy matters to me is that it is an individual autonomy. Privacy is essential for protecting an individual like me, a freedom, allow people like me to make choices without fear of external judgment or manipulation. So without privacy, individual may feel pressure to conform to societal norms and expectations. And another a good reason to have privacy is that privacy provides personal space, both physically and digitally. Like right now, we are in digital environment, so it allows people to control their environment and choose who can access their personal information. And this information space is crucial for mental well-being and maintaining a sense of security. Right, Vijay? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. We have an interesting subject here today. And to our audience, thank you very much for joining us today in our daily Tech Talk. And the title of today is Does Privacy Matter to You? Now, as eloquently, Patrick has elaborated on what privacy is about. And let me highlight again a little bit on the privacy. Now, privacy is the ability of an individual or group to seclude themselves or information about themselves and thereby express themselves selectively. The domain of privacy overlaps with security, which can include the concepts of appropriate use and protection of information. Now, there have been many different conceptions of privacy throughout history. Most cultures recognize the right of an individual to withhold aspects of their personal lives from public record. The right not to be subjected to unsanctioned invasions of privacy by the government, corporations, or individuals is part of many countries' privacy laws, and in some cases, constitutions. Now, with the rise of technology and digital economy, the debate regarding privacy has expanded from a bodily sense to include a digital sense. In most countries, the right to digital privacy is considered an extension of the original right to privacy. And many countries have passed acts that further protect digital privacy from public and private entities. Now, digital privacy can be defined under three sub-related categories: information privacy, communication privacy, and individual privacy. Now, digital privacy has increasingly become a topic of interest as information and data shared over the social web have continued to become more and more like a commodity or commodified. Social media users are now considered unpaid digital laborers, as one pays for free e-services through the loss of their privacy. The more a user shares on social networks, the more privacy is lost. So, users, listeners, and readers of our publications, kindly, protect your privacy. Take a little bit more to get into subscription-based privacy cloud softwares and mind your privacy and security for your own safety. And with that, I would like to hand over to our guest and Chief Science Officer, Dr. Ahmad Moradi. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Greeting, everyone. Thank you for having us. Welcome to our Tech Talk program. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Vijay, for being with us. The purpose of our continued education on Tech Talk is really inspire and involve the audience and bring information that it becomes valuable to the longevity of the process. I came from 43 years of ICT background, and my responsibility for many careers and jobs that I have always had, working for Fortune companies or startup companies, was always protection of the data. Data is a sacred thing because we believe in individuals' rights, privacy, and protection. But things changed, if you recall. I'm going to go to a little memory lane, then I'm going to bring you to the present. If you look at the Web 1.0 versus Web 2.0, and now that we are moving to the Web 3.0, Web 1.0 became a wild, wild west, we call it, because nobody knew what they were doing. Internet just came out. They were telling us information highway. Remember the information highway? And you can send information, you can do all of these things, right?
Yeah.
Then
about the privacy.
right. Nobody talked about those kind of things. Then organizations that they saw, this information can be taken away and harnessed and sold, then they became the social media providers, namely your Google search, your Facebook, your Twitters, all of these social media. They give you those services for free, supposedly, but they collect your data and then they feed those data to the AI and they build predictive pattern of your analysis. Like, when do you buy? When do you watch a TV? When do you sleep? It may not be important to you, but it's like having somebody watching over you without you really know. Because there is one factor. You always walk with your mobile phone. You don't go anywhere without your mobile device.
You even sleep with it.
You sleep with it. You go to the places that nobody else goes. So you have to be realistic that if privacy and security of your sovereignty is violated, then you're prone to being abused by bad actors. We call them bad actors because their intentions are wrong. They do not want to do the right thing with the right morality to respect you, to provide you with the information. So this is how the industry of Web 2.0 with the data came together, that organizations that they store your data, they are selling it and making it profitable for themselves at your expense. And then Web 3.0 came out because many countries, they saw this a violation of their national interest. For example, years ago, we signed, with the blessing of Mr. Vijay, with the cybersecurity and Cyberjaya and some of the other things in Malaysia over the same subject of security, because one of the area was the national ID of the nation was violated. So the data could be purchased for a few $1,000s by the bad actors, and they could harness and reach out to your bank accounts, to your things. In fact, we all are facing the same things, no matter where we are. Okay. So taking that into consideration, with the advent of digital economy, the fourth industrial revolution, data became the holy grail. And the data became because now you have powerful tools like AI that it can suck up that data and create ways that you would even otherwise not think about it. And that's also for the bad actors, because they use the data to create strategies to penetrate or to create opportunities that it benefits them at your expense. Could be your bank account, could be your identity, could be your social security, anything that it could possibly be financially or sociology or emotionally detrimental to you. It can happen because in United States, we have many cases that cyber crime has taken place. For example, children killed themselves because they were bullied. So you want to be able to look at this as a next generation of ideas. But this comes from two sides, not only by the publishers or by the government or by the institutions, but by the citizens. Citizens have to take pride in their own privacy. Would you like somebody to put a 24/7 camera in your side of your house and watch you all the time? The answer is clearly no. I'd like to have my privacy.
Right.
So the way that the KROOM is designed was designed with one fundamental factor, we didn't want any download, any app, or any install. First of all, because that opens up another Pandora's box in privacy and security if you're in an ICT business. So what we did, we built everything in the hardest way that we can create session. So you can share a link, and that link can be invitation, it can be participation, and many other factors that it can take place. More importantly, now that we are understanding that publishers with such as CHA and K Media that have enjoyed decades of honest reputation, being unbiased toward news, bringing you the real-time news to you, they are at risk with the print. So therefore, the print is transforming itself into digital. And you are the supporter, you are the readers, you are the viewers, you are the watchers of this content, and you have embraced it for many decades. So the objective of this presentation is to point out two highlights. The highlights, what we call why do you need privacy. And this privacy really is targeted to our two consumers, because that's what matters to us the most, and our advertisers, our brands, our sponsors. So therefore, they can appreciate and understand the steps that we are taking to bring their brand in front of the eyeballs, that it creates the best key performance indication, allows them to provide a trusted environment between the buyer and the brand can offer their products and services through a setting that we call KROOM. So let's first look at a couple of things that's important, and then I'll start sharing my screen share. One thing that I want to point out, a lot of people, they don't understand or they don't know what data clean room is. So with that, I want to start with a little definition. What is a data clean room? Okay, because everybody asks each other, but they don't want to admit they don't know. So we decided that we go into the grassroots of everything. So let's think about this. And I shared those articles with you on a definition, but a data clean room is a technology service that helps content platforms keep first person, namely you, users' data private when interacting with content and advertising materials. That's the first definition. Now, the concept of a data clean room is intended to be a data-focused equivalent to a physical clean room. What is a clean room? It's empty. We just swept it, we emptied it out, there is nothing in it, and it's available. But it has a lot of capability. And with the goal of having the pristine environment where technology can be contaminated by outside influencers. So in other words, the bad actors cannot influence the content. You don't have to worry about reading a fake news. The news is coming genuinely to you from the source. But if you just go through the online with a click, that click can go to a proxy server, and that server can send you to a fake site, and then they can provide you with the information that it's not accurate. And then you are making your value judgment based on your assumption that you had a trust on the brand. So this kind of preventive measures allows us to help you to bring that. So instead of being concerned with the contamination of physical elements, the primary concern of data clean room is keeping user data isolated and private. This is the most important part of this equation. Now, we start looking at what are the values for the users. The users normally have a privacy protection, meaning that DCR ensures the user's personal data remains protected. And companies that use the DCR, they can collaborate on data analysis without needing to share raw personal identifiable information. This is extremely important. They call it PII, personal identifiable information. This information also means that the sensitive information is less likely to be mishandled, okay, or exposed in a data breach. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is improved trust. Trust is acquired over the course of years. Okay, it is not something that you earn it actually. This acquisition comes through building the factor between viewers, the readers, the publishers, the editors, the brands, the sponsors. So you don't want to violate that improved trust. So users are more likely to trust, publishers that implement DCR because it demonstrates their commitment to data privacy. That is one of the reasons that K Media participated. And when users trust that data is being handled securely and the publishers are taking that matter very seriously, they're willing to engage and participate online and have their information. Reduce risk of misuse. This is another subject. Okay, DCR, data clean rooms, KROOMs, reduces the risk of user data being used by unintended purposes. Okay, this unintended purpose, we call it bad actors. Since companies only share aggregated and anonymized data, there is less potential for data misuse, such as targeting users with intrusive ads or sharing their data without consent. Now you can see the difference of working in the next generation of Web 3.0. Publishers, on the other hand, they are looking for ways for data monetizations because publishers have one sacred responsibility. They want to stay neutral. They want to bring the journalist, the true spirit of knowledge and the news back to their audience. They don't want to be influenced by third party or other sources, right? But they have to create a monetization to sustain the cost of the operations, okay, just like everybody else. So publishers benefit from DCR by monetizing the data while maintaining the entire privacy of their users. This is what is important. So they can share aggregated data as a first-party data without really compromising the privacy, your name, your email, and all of these kind of things. So compliance under DCR becomes extremely valuable. That's the next subject, compliance. DCR helps publishers comply with data protection acts in different countries. That is why KROOM are being built in Europe, they are being built in United States and Southeast Asia, because GDPR has different set of requirements. Southeast Asia has different sets of requirements. United States have, like California Consumer Protection Act, has a different sets of requirements. And also data has to sit in the location where sacred relationship has been maintained, right? So that is one of the reasons that we built KROOM for Southeast Asia market. More importantly, enhance collaboration. Collaboration is the essence of our real-time communication. If we don't tell each other what we need, what we want, how can we serve you? It's very straightforward. We can think about it, but the thinking does not work. But if you share your thoughts, your ideas, and that's one of the reasons I asked Patrick in here to become a catalyst to help us to create a WhatsApp group between our audiences, between us. So therefore, we can create and bring the first headline news to you. And then through these rooms, we can invite you, and then you can arrive and participate. Now we're going to go into a little bit of a presentation so we can talk about some of the things that we can share. And I will share my screen with you all. So hopefully that'll work in this transaction. You see my screen share?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so what I'll be doing here is a company that is underwriting the entire KROOM process called Meta Exchange starts with a few factors that is important between consumers and advertisers. Both are frustrated. First of all, advertisers are feeling that they're being cheated because wrong ads serve to the wrong consumers. There are things I see as an elderly person that has nothing to do with me versus a youth, right? You want to target the content. So therefore, content marketing, content distribution should reach the right eyeball when they give the permission. So that is one of the reasons in here, you see that it says advertisers estimate the wrong ad creative is served to the wrong customers, makes up 25% of the time. Now, whose time is it? It's your time. They are taking 25% of your time against the wrong content. You don't want that because you're living in a very highly concentrated information society. You don't want to get bombarded with unwanted ads. That's not the idea, right? The idea is to bring an honest ad to you, honest brand, and honest sponsorship. So this is one of the things. Then there is a paradox going on between the tech companies and the independent publishers all around the globe. This is not only about K-media, it's everywhere we are experiencing. Talking to Wall Street Journal, talking to other institutions that we are talking. Same thing is happening over and over. So Silicon Valley wants to take over the news. And there are only 2 or 3 of them between you and I. You know, Facebook, Google, right? And X, now you previously called Twitter. So these guys, all of a sudden, they want to cut the news guys out of the equation, because the news guys used to get compensated by sharing their news through the social media to create the awareness. But now they are responsible for that news by cutting the middleman, call it the independent publishers, and feeding the news. Now they can make their own fake news. They can make their own advertiser sponsor news like they have done. And subsequently, one of the things that happens, the $1 billion ad fraud is coming at the theaters near you in the next few years. It's a $172 billion fraud. So somebody has to take a proactive measure. Somebody has to educate the market. Somebody has to explain that it doesn't have to be this way. But there are 2 kinds of people that we deal with. And that's one of the reasons we ask, how adaptable are you? There are people with a mixed, fixed mindset, and there are flexible mindset. People who embrace change and technologies, they are looking at that I can always learn to be better, right? The other one says, no, I don't need a room. I just, read my newspaper. I'm happy the way I am. But at the end of the day, that violation, when it becomes victimized, then they say, oh, I should have been doing that, or I could have. And we are trying to avoid that by preventing the could have, the should have, and so forth, by offering this opportunity. So these are the important things, that you will be wasting your time as consumers. Advertisers are going to be wasting lots of money in a wasteful market. And it is not by us, it's by the industry prediction that is happening. So Juniper estimates 2023 ad fraud will be at 84.2 billion out of a global spend of 382 billion. The project projects that it will more than double, 105% increase, because of what? AI. AI is going to bring a lot of false advertising. And that is going to create a new paradox of fighting the bad advertisers, the bad actors, versus honest. So that is one of the reasons that you look at this kind of numbers, you see it's staggering. A projected 747 billion in a global spend, right? So you want to make sure that this advertising, that it reaches out, it comes to the right eyeball, it comes to the right buyer, it rises to the right consumers, with the privacy and the security. This is what we are trying to bring into the market. We already shared with you the definition of a data clean room, so I'm going to skip that subject and move into a way that we are introducing you to this. We brought the simplest analogy for our audience, okay? We treated 2 things, the cone and the ice cream. The cone is KROOM. KROOM is your cone, is where we are keeping everything. Ice cream is your content. In the first generation of rollout, we are bringing that as a newsroom. So all the content that is coming from the K-Media, from CIHA, from Borneo Post, from our Daily Oriental. All of these are connected to that. So when you come and you hold the cone in your hand, you know genuinely you have access to the right sets of content. With no, yes. And then this becomes your room, right? Now here you receive the information. This is why we are telling that you should have 10 compelling reasons to think about why we are saying this. So think of it like this, before and after, right? KROOM empty, available for subscribers or for newsroom participants, content of either yours or publishers that is available for your disposal. So you can look at it in that kind of a perspective, because we are trying to make life simple. We don't want to tell you how we made the sugar cone and how we went to the factory. All of these things is immaterial to consumers. They just want to get their ice cream and have a good time. So we look at this as a data guy because we are in data business, right? So we present the empty cone as a KROOM to give you the objective, the reasons. Enhanced user experience is one of our number one experience. More relevant and engaging content that we can bring to you. We can make things interactive like we are doing right now. By collecting and analyzing your needs, your data, we can become a better service. We can personalize these rooms to you without violation of your privacy. Enabling personalized content and advertisement that you accept, not just by being pushed to you. These are extremely important in the Web 3.0 strategy with data. 2, improve targeted advertising. Our brands, they always like to have their buyers. Everybody advertises for one reason. They want more sales. Nothing else matters to them. So by creating the way that we are doing it through KROOM, we can help the advertisers, the brand, the sponsors to create a better increased ad revenue, better higher KPI, and bringing that to the first party data of their own, so we never have to worry, and connect it to KROOM, K-Media first party data, so we can create a greater expansion with permission based and focus the advertising that it matters. 3, subscription retention. We are value client service provider. So what we try to do is create a perpetual motion, not just from a newsroom, but additional experiences, additional services. So when we understand your preferences, you may be very fond of news on esports, for example, but somebody may be very fond of fashion, for example, right? We can now segregate and create those kind of content segmentation inside the rooms that you can get first glimpse of what interests the audience, meaning you. So subscribers have to have a reason to come back. And that is one of the reasons we want to be proactive with you. We don't want to violate your privacy. We want to ask your permission, and you can always not to subscribe or cancel the subscription. But more importantly is building the roadmap that when we get together, you know you have vote of confidence, trust from the publishers that they have served you for many decades, and your parents and your grandparents. So personalized content recommendation, targeted advertising helps to create what we call customer journey, user increasing experiences of the user's experience. Now, more importantly, publishers live off of the trusted advertisers. Advertisers are the bloodline of the publishers because they bring that revenue stream predominantly to the publishers to retain their independence and bring the articles that it matters to the viewers with a little subscription fees that now consumers participate, called paying for your newspaper, right? But the revenue that it comes from the advertisers. So the goal of us is to build a greater advertisers' trust by helping them to generate more revenue, by creating a better compliance in that country, and without violating the privacy and trust of our subscribers. Number 5 is data monetization for the publishers. Monetizing their first-party data without giving out is an example of what I can give you as a Disney. Disney moved their entire platform to the first-party data because if you wanted to reach to a certain age bracket of children in certain countries and you wanted to market and advertise for a brand, now you can connect your first-party data to Disney as a second-party data, and then you can push the content that you like through the DCR, and they make that delivery deliver. So these are the examples that we are talking about data monetization. So advertisers are embracing that, okay, because it creates a new additional revenue stream that otherwise would not have been realized. Number 6 is extremely valuable cross-platform insights. Many companies, many brands, many advertisers, they use different cloud services. You've heard of the term cloud, right? So the cloud is basically connected by Amazon, by Google, by Microsoft, by IBM, etc., etc. And you don't know where things are. So one of the areas that KROOM brings in is that multi-layers of cloud structure that the brands and advertisers no longer have to worry. So it creates a mind map, tracks the user's interaction without storing data, and allows them to have the users to create the best seamless experience through the online KROOM platforms and provide a comprehensive analysis of what we call it usage, meaning that when, how long you spend time inside the rooms. And those are all available to you as a ledger. So you can always look at your own usage and to see how long was I there? Whom was I there? What time was I there? All of these things are already prepared inside the KROOM for you. More importantly, advertisers looking to reach users on multiple channels, right? They are not looking only for, that's what they call it, omni-channel. So through the DCR, you can bring that together. Number 7, compliance with privacy regulations. One thing that we have learned, if you respect the countries, the regions, privacy, as we have worked with Asia Pacific broadcast unions, with European broadcasting unions, feeding 500 million people and so forth, we always have to respect the audience, the geo IP. This is extremely valuable and important because that's how you build trust between brands, service providers, and the consumers. So we really are looking at, again, in that two-way communication, that we have taken every proactive measure in our side to meet the compliance. But remember, everything that it's man-made can be broken by man. That is one of the reasons that we build what we call fortress. Okay, these fortresses allows us that if somebody tries to breach, we will know in the first layer before it gets to the second or the third, so we can avoid it. Example of that was yesterday, where we got attacked ourselves by Russians, and we have to stop everything, prevent it from that first layer, and again continue. These are extremely important. Data collection. Data collection is a foundation of a publisher because they sell that to the media publishers, right? This is how many eyeballs we got. This is how many people we have viewership. This is what we do with our KPI. So that data collection enables them, without taking your name, your password, your security, and misusing it, creating a matrix for the brands and advertisers that they know that they can reach out with your permission as a viewer, and at the same time they receive a room that is sponsored. Example of that, we have talked about it in the past, but it's the whole about collaboration between publisher, between brand, and between consumers, that you can bring that into a first party together. Number 9, in-depth analysis. AI has given us the ability to understand and work rather than becoming our replacement. In my world, I work with the AI to bring value to the humanity. So think of it as our consultant. Think of it as a way that we learn from those information that we can effectively do, but with good AI, because the bad AI or different intention of AI has different connotations. And I personally have been in AI since 1986. So one of the things that I can tell you from AI experience is KROOM is designed fundamentally to adopt into AI. We will be introducing technologies that otherwise you would never see anywhere else inside K-Media and K-Rooms. And these K-Rooms are going to give you tools and technologies like ChatGPT. If you look at just our room right now on the sidebar, you will find on the right-hand sidebar, there is an icon for ChatGPT. So if I need to all of a sudden sit down with our colleagues and do some brainstorming about the subject and do a research, we can also get feedback from our ChatGPT to expand our horizon on regenerative AI, understand what we need to do. These are all important. And more importantly, ad blocking mitigation. We believe in not to be intrusive. We don't want our advert, that's why these rooms are private. They're designed that way. So all of a sudden you don't see banner ad popping out, a pop-up coming out here, or something else distracting you. That's not our intent. Our intent is to bring a genuine advertising, genuine news, genuine published content that is unbiased back to the audience. And that is really the main experience that we wanted to show you, that at the end of the day, our job is through KROOM to give you as a consumer a data clean room, empty, and with the blessing of K-Media, powered with the flavor of content. And that content can be by publisher, by broadcasters, by advertisers, or by the consumers when you use it. And in short, we'd like you to take a little flavor of that. So that's really the general idea. Back to you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moradi, for a very nice and insightful explanation and presentation. I think we are going to open the floor to questions. Patrick,
I have a question before we any of the audience would like to ask a question about.
So you are the first question from our own side.
So to me, the privacy is a fundamental of building trust.
Correct.
So we are talking about the trust and relationship here with the KROOM.
Yep.
And maybe we can elaborate a bit further, Dr. Moradi, how KROOM can build this trust in a personal as well as a professional way. People are more likely to trust others when they feel that their information and communication are being kept private, So now we are talking about privacy, If my information, we can guarantee that the information are being kept private, the chances are likely that, I can trust this KROOM because my information there, my relationship with KROOM is professional, and my data in KROOM is, being kept, privately. So maybe you can elaborate a bit further on that. I think our audience would definitely love to hear the answer.
Well, there is a little observation if you look at our behavior when we apply or download an app or sign up in a website, right? First thing they do is they say register an account, right? They ask us, and then they put a little I agree. You never read content. Okay.
I agree
you just
to
click
your
on the agree, but all of a sudden you sold all of your rights because if you really read it, you understand. So the intent, it really defines the trust, first of all. K-Media, CHA, has created the trust with its audience over the fact that they have always been consistent and they have been trusted by the population. This trust is sacred. It's earned. It's not just been paid by sponsors, right? So this gatekeeping is coming through your organization, not us. We built this platform for K-Media, with K-Media.
Organization, right? The organizer, the subscriber.
Exactly. The next important factor is that we looked at series of variables because we work with many organizations, banks, financial institutions, universities, education, etc. Health. We build these data clean rooms, the KROOMs, in a way that you can pass through knowledge. And this pass-through knowledge resides the content in where it was originally resided. Example, let's say you have a YouTube content and you want to share it in here. You're not going to copy and put that content in here. All you're doing is telling the sidebar that I have an embeddable video and I like to share that inside the room with my audience, and you paste it inside the sidebar, and now you have that available without taking the content away. And if you stop that content, the room does not deliver. This is the same thing with your file, with your structure, with your decision. So therefore, you have to look at it from the trust of what is it that we are trying to accomplish, right? In a newsroom, our job is to bring unbiased newsroom to our subscribers with a tinge of third party and bad actors and advertisers that they can influence the content. So this is the first rollout. But the brand and the consumers are the trusted and sacred. And through the use of technology, we are bringing them closer and closer together. Whereas in the Web 2.0, they abused it. And that is one of the reasons we had cookies, if you recall. So by removing the cookies, consumers have to feel they have another place to go. And in order to go, DCR has become the destination around the globe, not only for the print publishers, for financial institutions, for other people that they are security minded, like stock exchanges, publicly traded companies, and so forth. So to answer your question and to also elaborate on this subject, privacy is a two-way street, just like collaboration is. You trust, you build, and you proceed. The same way that you work with Vipa, as an example, took nearly 2.5 years of doing a due diligence to commit to the resources, right? And vice versa. We are asking our audience the same equation. So back to you, Patrick.
Yeah, another question I think a lot of our audience will asking is that the subscribers, their ability to control what information is shared in the KROOM and with whom that they will be able to share that information. So maybe you can enlighten our audience a little bit further, like when they put certain information, like for example, some of the these icons on the right side of the
Right.
this KROOM here, the right side bar, like
Right.
Yeah, where the social media buttons are all. Yes.
so as far as I'm concerned, the information that we put in this desktop share, perhaps within a certain period of time, if they don't download the information, this share of the file and
Messages will disappear. Yeah.
it will be automatically deleted, based on the AI setup, based on the algorithm. Is that true?
Right. Yes, to answer your question, there are different use cases. For example, in a room, when you do a file sharing, let's say I like you come to my private room, right? And I want you to sign a mutual NDA with me, or I want to share a presentation. I can push a button in here and send you that file in real time. You can review it. If you want to sign it, you can send it back to me. That information will retain only up to 24 hours and then it gets removed. And the reason for that is people have latency or they need to come back for a variety of reasons. So based on our market study and years of working, we feel 24 hours of what we call purge is perfect for removal. On the streaming, on screaming and screen sharings and this kind of things, we do not store anything. We do everything in real time. And when you end the session, it's ended unless you have recorded it. And if you have recorded it, that means that in these rooms, we do not have recording features.
Is somebody else, whoever that you invite to come to the room, they themselves do the recording themselves, right?
If these rooms are controlled by the moderator. If the moderator, the owner of the room, is not inside the room, nobody can come inside the room.
Yeah, unless I can take the camera, my phone, and then record what you are saying, So
Right.
that is based on that is controlled by the moderator,
Correct. And when I send the invitation to my colleagues, I don't need to post them on my social media and have thousands of people to come in. I only share it with my trusted friends, my closest friend. Because in our even social stratosphere, in our own pyramid of life, we have close friends and we have social colleagues that they like to connect to us. We don't even know them. Let's be practical. I got thousands of people on my LinkedIn, but I really don't know all of them. So therefore, to answer your question, is I looked at it from a trust relationship. So DCR are designed for the closest friends, colleagues that you can invite inside the room and participate either through text chat as your basic package, or standard where you have video like we have in here, and you can collaborate and communicate and talk about the subject of the news or your interest. Or you can have your premium room that you can customize it, you can decorate it, you can set up different numbers of connections and all of these things for your business and personal use.
Yeah, to add on to what Dr. Moradi said, Patrick, okay, the owner of the room as the premium room owner, you have got 3 ways that you can actually control the settings. One is when the owner of the room is there in the room. That means let's call the owner of the room the moderator. Okay, so you can set it moderator required. That means without the owner of the room, nobody else can come inside the room. Another way is the settings can be set as authenticated users only. That means the owner of the room now can allow authenticated users only to come in. That means he sets up a password, and this password he gives out to the others whom he chooses to, whom he has authenticated to come in the room. The third way is he uses the premium room as a showroom. That means like a showroom, just pretty much like your real-time physical showroom. Anybody who walks in the shopping mall can walk into a shop. The sales girl or the manager is not going to stop them, right?
Yeah.
So that part of it is anonymous users. So these are the various categories that the moderator, the owner of the room, can decide on how he wants to set his broadcast, collaboration, and communication settings in the clean room.
Correct.
Thank you, Vijay, for your further elaboration. So we are coming to the end of tonight's session, and we hope tonight's session help everybody to better understanding and to better care of our personal information from the bad actors. And to our audience, thank you so much for joining us. Please continue to join us on next Thursday, November 2nd, same time at 8 p.m. We will be talking about the Malaysian Data Protection Act. And we have a special speaker who will be sharing with us on this particular topic.
A subject matter expert who is
Yes.
going to be addressing the crowd, and we thought that it was most appropriate to have this subject in view of the recent WhatsApp in conjunction with the Global Encryption Day. They did a survey, and it came out that Malaysians, out of 10 Malaysians, only 7 think of the privacy, but only out of that 7, only 3 of them actually use it. So in line with this kind of reports and issues in Malaysia, we thought it would be most adaptable and use case studies that everybody understands what the PDPA is all about, so that we get into the issues of privacy and how KROOM now becomes the catalyst. And as a newsroom, how is it private, secured, and it's a clean room?
Yeah, definitely. In this digital age where personal information is increasingly
Yes.
and shared, concerns about privacy have
Yes.
grown. As a result, there have been efforts to enact privacy law and regulation like PDPA. And in European country, the General Data Protection Regulation. So we want to bring our audience to refresh their memory about
Yes.
all
Yes.
these
Exactly.
regulations and laws that have been enacted many years ago, which many of us may have forgotten. So it's good to revisit that. So that is the topic that we want to bring to you next week, the Malaysian Data Protection Act. So until
Great.
then, stay positive, stay inspired, and keep growing. So thank you very much, Vijay, and thank you
Thank you, Patrick.
for your sharing tonight. Good night. Bye bye.